Well, hello, Courier Nation. Welcome to the Deliver on Your Business podcast, where you are the boss. If you deliver for Grubhub, DoorDash, Postmates, Ubereats, or any of those others, this podcast is for you. They said you have to be an independent contractor, which makes you a business owner. We are here to help you think like one and claim your rights and your opportunities. Hey, happy Saturday, Courier Nation. And to those of you who are looking for an episode to show up on Friday, and instead you got my little mini episode where I posted about kind of life taking its little changes here. Good news is I am now the proud grandfather of young Atticus, little 6 pounds, 13 ounces. Mom and baby are both doing great, and Grandpa's pretty proud right now. So anyway, I do want to thank you for coming back, and I'm really excited about today's episode because I've got, I think, a great interview here for you to enjoy. Just a guy that's been part of this delivery world and kind of coined the term the delivery fam or the DFAM, delivery family. UDM. He's if you watch very much on YouTube or anything like that and pay attention to many of the delivery drivers, he's just one of my favorite content producers, and he's a delivery guy just like the rest of us here. So enjoy to sit back and enjoy the conversation we've got today with UDM. Well, hey, Courier Nation. We're excited to get started here this morning. I got a special guest with us, and we actually got a couple of shots at this. We did a run of this once before, and some podcaster who shall remain nameless didn't quite set the settings right, and it didn't record. So we're doing it again. But I'll tell you what, I want to kind of set the stage a little bit. A few years ago, when I was kind of diving into learning how to fix up old bicycles, that's when I really started to learn about how YouTube could be your friend. You know, because I am not mechanically inclined. I'm not good at figuring out stuff on my own, but there's all sorts of stuff to tell you how to, how to grease the bearings on your bike and how to take certain things apart and put them back together. And it actually made me pretty good at it, I think. But when I started getting into driving, then it just made sense to start looking up for some good ideas, tips, and tricks. And, and YouTube can be your friend there. And sometimes YouTube can make you wonder what the heck you were doing. So, because there's sometimes you run into some folks and it's nothing but attitude or drama. And then sometimes you just run across some pretty good stuff. And our guest today, we've got UDM with us. And UDM really stood out to me just right from the beginning because he's just got an energy and a joy, and there's something very different about him. I love the way that he has built community among drivers. He's out there trying to find good information and up-to-date information on what's going on, but I think more than that, he's just fantastic at building community. And so I'm really honored to have him on here today. And there's a good chance you've already come across him, but UDM, I want to welcome you. And if I remember right, that originally stood for Uber Delivery Man once upon a time, but it's kind of evolved into, is it Ultimate Delivery Man?
Yeah, I once was Uber Delivery Man because when I first got into this, I came to YouTube, as many of us would, to find information about how to do Uber Eats, and a lot of that information was outdated. And I said, you know what? I am out here now. Let me update everyone. And I wanted to update or really dive in and give some real tips and tricks on how to maximize your earnings. So I just took the label. I said, you know what? I'll be the Uber Delivery Man. And that's what I was. And then later on, it changed because I added a few more apps. So I can't claim Uber Delivery Man if I'm doing Grubhub, DoorDash, Postmates. How can I say Uber Delivery Man? And then, but you do Grubhub, you do Postmates, like I had to claim something else. So Ultimate is what I go with now.
All right. I love that. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into delivery and how you got into starting your YouTube channel?
Well, As far as delivery goes, I will say first that it's never something that I actually thought about before. It's like I always wanted to, make everyone else happy. You know, my mom, she wanted me to go to college, have a great education, get a great job, get married. And so do, like every other mother or father or parents out there. And I worked at a school for a while, and I thought it was a great job because everyone I would talk to, they go, "Oh, the school board is a great job. It has great benefits." So working at that type of job and seeing the amount of workload that I had for the little money that I received, which was like $700 every 2 weeks.
Oh,
Even if it might be a great job, that pay, we both can agree that pay was not the best.
no,
You know?
no. I've
Yeah,
been there.
in a nutshell, well, look at it, $350 a week. 350 a week. But anyway, um, moving forward a little bit, I I had my first son, and that $700, that was his insurance. They were taking it out of my check. Every month was $700. So I would be left with $700 for the month.
And
So
that's to take
I
care
had to
of a
find
family.
Right. I had to find something that could actually pay me some more money. So I looked into different types of apps, and I came across Lyft, and I came across Uber rideshare. And I'm like, I went to the Lyft meeting. They didn't really launch yet down here in Miami. And then I was part of their first meeting. And then they looked at my car, and then they said, "Hey, your car, it has a few issues here and there. Get those fixed, and, we'll get you on the road." And I was like, I really got to put my car in a body shop now just so I could work. I'm just trying to get some extra money. So then I went online, and I said, I came across this ad, and it said, become an Uber Eats driver, set your own schedule, and da 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 da. And I'm like, what is this? So I looked into it. I signed up. I got approved. There was no car inspection. And then my first day going out there, I got the ping on my phone, and I hit the button, and all I have to do is just pick it up and drop it off. That's it. That is everything. Oh man, I found something new. And then I was doing it part-time for a while. I did it mostly Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And I made $400. And I said, what? I can make $400 in 24 hours? Because that's how long I worked. $400. I'm doing the wrong thing. I'm in the wrong profession. So I said, you know what? I did it for a while. I did it for a couple of months part-time. I kept doing the $400 every weekend, $400. And then I made my decision the fall of the new school year that, hey, I'm going to turn in my letter of resignation. I gave them a 6-week notice. Like the typical is a 2-week. I gave them a 6-week notice. Like, let me tell you, okay, when it's time for me to go, don't tell me that, hey, we need you to stay an extra day. No. I'm giving you 6 weeks. So I planned it for December 29th. Even though we were on break, I pretty much let them know, like, hey, I'm not coming back after Christmas break. So before we went on break, that was my last day. We celebrated, like, hey, he's gonna be gone. He's not coming back. And I did this full time ever since. And that was since 20. I want to say the Christmas of 2017.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've been doing it ever since.
All right. So Christmas of 2017. So yeah. You'll be coming up on 2 years then. So,
full time.
Full time. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. And what made you decide to start your YouTube channel then?
All right. The YouTube channel. Well, like I said earlier, we all, as drivers, we go and seek the information. We go online, we Google, we go to YouTube, try to find, hey, how to do this, how to do that. And I saw a lot of the information was outdated. Like they were like, at the time that I was watching the videos, they were like a year old, 2 years old. And I'm like, this stuff has to be updated because some of this stuff, the app doesn't even look the same.
Right.
It's like, oh man, I need, you know what? People need this information. These people have like thousands of subscribers. Why not give them updated info? How to do this in 2017, 2018, 2019, and so on and so forth. How to do it. Let me start my own channel. Let me put out the info. At first, I will be honest, at first, I was looking at it like maybe it's an opportunity for me to create another stream of income. And I said, what do you need to monetize your channel? And I was like, oh, wow, I need all this, 4,000 hours watched, 1,000 subscribers. I'm like, oh, I got some work here. I got to do some work. So all in all, I started my YouTube channel and pretty much put the thought of money to the side, because in the end, I really do love helping people. And I had some people try to knock me down and tell me, oh, you should stop doing these videos. Ubereats sucks. I'm like, there's some people out here that still do Ubereats. I need to reach those people. Those people are my target. So I started the YouTube channel for Ubereats drivers that might need some additional info on how to maximize their money. That's it.
Good stuff. I think, one of the things that really stood out, though, to me, the kind of your tagline that you used to do, or sometimes I still hear you do it, is that, if you do what you love and love what you do, and especially the way you said it, man, it was just kind of like it's just kind of your whole style, your whole attitude, your whole passion, I think, just kind of came out in that. But talk about that a little bit, about that doing what you love and loving what you do.
Well, going back to what I said about working at the school and people saying like, oh, it's a great job. Okay, yeah, it's a great job from your perspective. I did enjoy what I did, what I did for work, helping the kids get through tough situations. They might be in a crisis at the moment, helping them calm down, de-escalate. I did enjoy doing that, but the workload for the little money was not. I mean, I still had to survive. I still had something on the outside, and I had a kid. I'm like, I'm in daddy mode, full-time daddy mode. Like, listen, I don't care about me. My son has to eat. My son has to be able to go to the doctor. So people would tell me, oh, well, go to school, go back to school and get a degree in this. And I'm like, for real? Okay, all right. But then I would start, and then I'm like, I'm not enjoying this. This is just a pain in the butt, man. And I'm like, I don't love this. You love this. You want me to do this because of your reason. I'm not loving this. And if I'm not going to love it, I'm not going to last. So I said, you know what? I really enjoy these deliveries. I went full time. And I said, even though people talk about me, even if people said that I made a poor choice leaving school, I still enjoy what I do. Not just because of the flexibility. I meet new people every day. Sometimes I have repeat customers, but I meet new people every day. And guess what? I don't have to see the same faces over again. It's like, I have to walk in. Hey, how you doing, Mr.? How you doing, Mistress? Like, I don't have to see the same people over and over every single day. So it's like, it was a plus to me. So doing what you love to do means so much to me that I said, you know what? That's going to be my slogan. Hey, do what you love and love what you do. If you do what you love and you love what you do, you will always be happy, no matter what anyone says.
That's That's huge. I mean, and this is the thing that's kind of funny because I mean, you run into lawyers, you run into doctors, you run into executives, and they're making money hand over fist, and they're miserable.
Right.
And I've run into people that they've gone from that into gig work, and they just kind of hit their sweet spot, and
Right.
they love it. And I've been in the business world, and that's kind of how I got started, was trying to get that business approach a little bit for people. But I get into doing this, and you're not, like you said, you're not having to run into the same people. You don't have somebody micromanaging. You don't have the stress. I mean, there are things that are stressors to this job, and it has more to
Right.
do with just the gig economy and how it works, and how these companies will try and take advantage of people. But you got a lot more control over how you can respond to those things.
Right.
But it's like, I can go out, I can do my deliveries, I can go home, and I can leave it behind, and I love that.
That is the truth.
And
exactly.
But that's huge, though. I mean, it's just finding that thing that you love to do. And something that I talk about a lot is about remembering your why. And thinking about, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to ask you, why'd you get into doing this, and what made you choose this over other things? And sometimes I think it's easy for us to get into doing this as well as anything else, and you get into a pattern, or you get into a rut, and sometimes it gets back to thinking about your why. It's like, why are you doing this? And like your family, you got family now, you want to take care of stuff like that.
Right.
Most people say, why do you do this? So I got to make money. Well, why do you need to make money? Well, because I got to take care of my family. Well, why is that important to you? And if you just keep asking why over and over again, you start to, I think, dig into a little more about what's important, and you can get there. I think that's huge, because that keeps you centered, that keeps you grounded.
Yes.
And so, one of the things that I notice about you also is that for you, it's obvious to me. I'll have to excuse the dogs for a moment.
I hear them.
They're
just letting you know someone's there. Hey, someone's there.
Well, it's that squirrel that's getting ready to kill us. But and they're pretty sure that I'm there, or that they are my why,
Right.
But going back to what I said, asking you here, it's real clear to me that family is priority to you. And I've seen you, make sure that, okay, I'm not doing streams at this particular time. I'm taking time off during this time because of that priority. So talk to me a little bit about that, because how do you try and keep your priorities there as far as your family and things like that?
Well, the thing is, I let everyone know from the early stages of me being on YouTube that I wanted to build a community, and I wanted it to be a family atmosphere, because family is very important to me. They say blood is thicker than water, and to me, it really is. I would defend someone across the U.S. that is not technically my blood, but if I consider you to be family, I would defend you in the comment section of someone else's video or my video if someone were to say something bad about your app that you're working, or something like that. So since family is very important to me, I make time for my family online. I make time for my family offline, and I still try to balance work as well. Now, you might ask, like, how is that possible? And a lot of my subscribers ask, like, oh my gosh, UDM, how are you doing this? You're doing a stream, you're doing that, you're doing that. I'm like, if you notice, I have a set time in the morning and a set time at night. And whatever falls in between, at one point I tried to keep that on the schedule, but that's during like my busy time while I'm working. And it's like, it did not work for me. So I recently made the change of just look out for a vlog in between. You don't know when it's going to be, but just look out for it, And I realized that having a schedule is very important. A schedule for the online, since I want to do it. I want to be the YouTube guy online, and I have to have a set schedule for my offline. And even the time that I get off of work, so I can make sure that I spend time with the kids before they go to bed. Hey, daddy's home, like run around with them a little bit, wrestle with the boys. They always want to wrestle with me. They jump on my back and I have to fall to the ground. Oh, you got me, like, and that is very important, not only to me, but to them as well. Daddy's home. That moment when I walk through the door and then they get up and they scream like, hey, and they get excited. Daddy's home, Imagine if I did not make that time for them. It would hurt me, So I make sure I make time for the kids. I make time for my life partner, Mrs. UDM. Man, we've been through a lot, and she is definitely awesome, I make time for her. I make time for the kids. I make time for the online family. And I would literally drop a schedule to make sure if my day was not going well, I would still drop a schedule. Even if, like, some people would stay out there all day just to make sure that they make whatever that they need to make. If I'm $60 in the hole of meeting my goal, does not matter. I'm still going to dedicate the time that I need to my family and to my online family. Family is just important to me, Ron.
Yeah. And that is so clear. And I think, and that's part of that thing about the why. And that's one of the reasons I want to try and recommend to people, think about your why and make sure that is still what drives you. Because when you get to a point, like you said, you can drop that driving when you need to, when your family needs that, because that's what your why is. But if your why ends up being your family, but then you let the driving get in the way of family, you're kind of defeating the purpose instead of helping it.
Exactly.
And so that's huge. What would you say, I guess, to our listeners, to Courier Nation, to the DFAM, the delivery family, about
which is not a gang, by the way. It's not a gang.
Yeah. What would you say to other drivers about keeping things in perspective? What kind of advice could you offer for that?
Well, the best thing that I can offer as far as advice goes is always keep your eyes on your money. But at the end of the day, what I mean by that is, you got to make sure that you take care of everything that you need to. If you're not making your goal, you got to go find the money. That's something that I say a lot on my channel. Go find the money where it is. Go get that money. Towards the ending of my morning streams, I say, it's time to go get that money. It does not mean sit in one spot and wait for the money to come to you. Sometimes that spot might not be a great spot. You might have to go find the money on that app or another app. I always tell drivers, don't dedicate yourself to just one app. I know that life. Ubereats. That's how I started. Eventually, I went from making almost $200 a day with just Uber Eats to $90 in the same amount of time. So obviously something started going down, pay cuts, more drivers on the road. So keep your eyes on your money. Always keep your eyes on your money and balance. You have to be able to balance time for you, not just the money. The money will always be there. but you need some time for happiness as well. If your family makes you happy, spend some time with your family. Go on and pamper yourself, taking a day off, going to your favorite football game or your favorite basketball game, or just sitting home and watching the basketball game, or whatever you're into. Take some time out for yourself, because these apps will be here when you get back. You got to make time for yourself. So stress kills, and happiness kills stress. you know,
I like
so
that.
so do the best that you can to remain happy while doing these gig apps. That's the best advice that I could give.
I love that. Yeah, I had, in fact, kind of part of this process for me, kind of a big thing involved there. It was almost kind of a life example type of thing with what it was perfect with what we're talking about here, because we did the first interview and the recording didn't work, and then I didn't get back to you for a little while trying to get that schedule figured out. Well, all this time it was like my daughter's getting ready to go into the hospital, and be a grandpa for the first time.
Right.
And I tell you what, there's times where she's there in the hospital and I'm sitting here thinking, I need to be out driving. I need to be working on stuff for the website. I need to be doing all this stuff. And it was like, no, that's, and it gets back to that, it's like live in what life is about, rather than trying to get caught up into something to a point where you become a robot or something.
Yeah. And that can happen to people like us.
Yeah.
And when I say people like us, I mean, I did take a vacation from social media. That vacation was very important to get out of the robotic way of always wanting to be on, always. Oh my gosh, people don't really understand how bad social media has programmed us to always want to be on our smartphones. Like it's something that even though I recognized it, I still ignored it. But then even though it would still, like, I would still find myself in situations where I need to take a break, I would not make the conscious decision to take the break. So even if while you were at the hospital with your daughter, your grandbaby is either on the way or already there, your mind is still running about social media or the things that you have to do for the things that you love. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's the same thing as seeing a notification pop up on my phone. Someone left a comment on my most recent video, always going back to it. And it's great that I love it so much that I'm willing to go and check the comments every single time. But at the same time, like I said earlier, your happiness, a peace of mind, taking some time off for yourself, it's okay too. That will always be there to go back to it. Yeah. I really feel like between you and I, it's like, and many other people that probably think the same way, we feel like, oh man, we got a bright idea. Oh, this is gonna be great. Oh, just keep on piling more on top of the other things that we already put there. But it's like, we feel sometimes like we don't have time to waste. We have to do it now,
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's going to be there tomorrow, a few hours later. It's going to be there. And just understanding that it's definitely, why I took my break too. And I can see it in you as well, Ron. You needed that break to spend with your daughter at the hospital.
Yeah. Yeah. And, there are a couple of times where all of a sudden I get that chime that says, oh, hey, it's time to log into your shift. It's like, oh, I forgot to get that taken off of there or something. And there for a second, I'm kind of like, well, maybe I should step away for a couple of hours, give her a break, No, and stay in the moment and live in the moment. And that's hard to do, whether you're doing delivery or whatever kind of work there is. I think sometimes it's harder in what we do because of the flexibility, which seems kind of odd, but it's like, you can go out there and you could work 80 hours doing this if you wanted to, and there's nothing stopping you from doing that. And
Right.
sometimes that makes it tempting to go out and do it for 80 hours.
Right.
And
That's true.
and
Especially when
it's,
it's back-to-back things. Oh my
oh
God,
yeah.
the money's great.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You get a nice little snow here, the kind that's not so much that it keeps you from going, but
Mhm.
just enough. You probably don't get that as much there, do you?
Oh no, man, we don't get that at all. I
But
don't know how long I would last either.
that's a beautiful thing about Denver, though, is most people kind of think it's like nothing but blizzards. And the weather is actually better here in the winter than it was like when I grew up in Nebraska,
Mm.
which I thought it'd be just the opposite. Anyway, that's getting way off on a tangent. Any other advice or anything that you would like to leave with the audience here today before we're able to wrap up?
I always say it, multi-app, some people might disagree with multi-apping, and some people might see it as, something that's just stressful. And let me take this time to say that multi-apping doesn't mean that you have to take every order that comes to your phone when it comes to your phone. Multi-apping is just it can have many different meanings. It could mean having a backup just in case one does not work for you today. Having a backup, or it could also mean take an order when you're about to deliver it, turn on a secondary. you know, you don't have to take every order that comes to your phone when it comes to your phone. You don't have to have all apps on at the same time when you're delivering one or when you're going to pick up one. You have the flexibility to schedule yourself or to work when you want to. Same thing as you have the ability to accept what you want to or turn off what you want to. So multi-app, have multiple apps available just in case one isn't working. I'll go with that one since that is it's not as stressful as working multiple apps at the same time to maximize your pay.
Yeah.
So sign up for as many apps as you can, not just food delivery. I put one out there the other day and I see a lot of drivers are loving it. Dispatch. If you have not heard of it, look it up, dispatchit.com. You will love me later.
All right. So remember that, folks. Check that out. And we'll put a link in also in the show notes and stuff like that if anybody wants to look them up. And yeah, and ultimately it's kind of like it's whether it's about setting your priorities and with your family or doing things like, the multi-apps, a lot of it is just kind of claiming that control for yourself, isn't it?
Yes,
It's
definitely. But if you don't claim that control for yourself, even while you're doing what you love to do, then it can go south really quick.
Yeah.
You got to have some kind of structure, So yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. All right. Well, UDM, I want to thank you so much for coming on and sharing some wisdom with us and for being part of the show here today.
Thank you for having me, Ron.
Oh, absolutely.
I did not expect this at all when you reached out to me. And I feel honored to be here, man.
Well,
thank you.
I'm honored as well. Thank you so much. Have a great one.
All right. You too.
All right. So what did you think, Courier Nation? I'll have some links in the show notes for UDM's channel and to Dispatch that he mentioned and everything like that, just in case you haven't heard of him before. This guy is genuine. I enjoy his outlook, his approach, and he's just one of the really good guys, I think, in what we do, And the timing of this week, I still can't get over that. Now, consciously, I hadn't put two and two together. Who knows if there wasn't something subconscious going on? I don't know. But, when I'm waiting in the hospital with my daughter and I'm thinking, I've got to get on this podcast thing because when we did the original interview, it didn't take. And I'm sitting here worrying, do I need to just record something totally different until we can get this rescheduled? And this light goes off in my mind that just says, hey, you dummy, practice what you're preaching here. Kind of stay in the moment. Focus on the things that really matters. The rest of it's going to come together. So, folks, listen to the guy here as far as what he's had to say and kind of his message, because I think there's just a necessity to what we do. Yeah, we've got to pay the bills. We're saving up for something, but never let that take over the stuff that's really important. So again, just thank you to UDM for helping bring that home today. Folks, I'm going to have links to the website and other stuff in the show notes, or you can just go to deliveronyourbusiness.com for more information. And one thing I want to ask as we wrap this up today, is this podcast or any of our content helpful to you in your delivery business? Because if it is, please spread the word. Give us a shout on social media. Leave a review where you get your podcasts, because that stuff helps us get found. And if we can get found, then we can help more people with their delivery business. Finally, folks, I ask you to take control. Take control of your business, but even more, like we talked about today, take control of your life, your career, your priorities. Go out today and be the boss.